On behalf of the Senate Committee on Solid Minerals, Mines, Steel Development and Metallurgy, I wish to welcome His Excellency, the President of the Senate, Senator Ahmad Lawal, who is ably represented by the Minority Whip, my brother, Senator Philip Tanimu Aduda. This public hearing, slated for today and tomorrow, are consequent upon the referrals by the resolutions of the Senate as part of the responsibility of this committee to ensure adherence to due process in litigation and in legislation. The referrals before the committee made on different sittings consisted of 4 bills and 1 motion. These are as follows. 1. Nigerian Mineral Development Corporation Bill, sponsored by Senator Moratanko Almakura. Number 2, Solid Minerals Producing Areas Development Commission Bill, sponsored by Senator Yakubu Oseni. Number 3, Institute of Bitumen Management Bill, sponsored by Senator Tofowomo Nicholas Olubukola. 4, Explosives Act 1964, Repeal and Reenactment Bill, sponsored by Senator Moratanko Almakura. And 1 motion, number 5, is a motion, urgent need to investigate the loss of $9 billion annually due to illegal mining and smuggling of gold. The motion was sponsored by Senator Oji Uzo Kalu. The committee considers it expedient to take on them in 2 consecutive days in order to ensure a pragmatic and efficient discourse so as to meet the timeline for the submission of the reports back to the Senate. For today, we are considering bills 1 and 2 above, namely bills to establish Nigerian Mineral Development Corporation, NMDC, and bill to establish Solid Mineral Producing Area Development Commission. While thanking the President of the Senate for making time to attend this through his representative, Senator Aduda, I wish all of us successful deliberation. The need for this outfit has become necessary given the mundane and incongruent manner in which the solid mineral industry has over the years found itself due to lack of policy that could stimulate production and adhere to international best practices. With these problems, it is observed that unbundling of the sector can be the salvation. This is even more so that the present administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is receptive to making decisions that align with templates in most advanced climes. As part of this administration's effort towards the diversification of the Nigerian economy, one of 9 priority areas is stabilizing the macroeconomy by strategically diversifying Nigeria's economy from being a mono-product economy to the productive development of various sectors of the economy. Next to agriculture, the solid mineral sector has been identified as one with the potential to compete and eventually replace crude oil as a major source of foreign exchange earnings. Consequently, the Economy Recovery and Growth Plan, ERGP, created focus labs made up of professionals from the mining sector to create intervention programs to de-risk the solid mineral sector and increase revenue for all stakeholders, making the sector more attractive to both local and foreign investors. Nigeria is blessed with an abundance of solid minerals in 5 distinct classes: precious minerals, gemstones, like ruby, emerald, etc. Metallic ores, like lead, zinc, copper, etc. Construction minerals, like laterite, granite, gravel, and sand, etc. And energy minerals, like bitumen, coal, and uranium, among others. All this resource remains largely untapped and unexplored. However, the proposed Nigerian Mineral Development Corporation seeks to develop upstream exploration and production, midstream mineral processing and metallurgy, and downstream logistics, trade, and export, which will catalyze investment in the entire mining value chain in Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, representatives of the Federal Ministry of Mines and State Development, its departments and agencies, and industry stakeholders present in this public hearing, it is expected that the establishment of the NMDC will urgently address the challenges of internally generated revenue, IGR, currently facing state governments in Nigeria, as it would provide the much needed revenue to deliver on the administration's priority areas of infrastructure development, social inclusion, and poverty reduction, industrialization, and job creation for the citizens of Nigeria. Upon establishment of the corporation, initial funding shall be by way of a sovereign guarantee covering the sum of 5 billion naira only for a successful takeoff of the operations, including all initial capital and operating expenditure. The federal government of Nigeria will pay up its 70% equity contributions, and the institutional investors shall pay their respective equity participation to the corporation. Subsequent upon the NMDC, subsequent funding of the NMDC would be through the Nigerian Mineral Development Fund, which will be managed by the corporations, by the corporation, strictly in accordance with Nigerian monetary policy and international best practice. The NMDC is proposed to be a state-owned enterprise SOE, with private sector participation and government control as the vehicle for unbundling the upstream and downstream commercial activities in the Nigerian solid mineral sector. The activities and scope of the corporation will broadly cover the following areas. A, mineral exploration for solid minerals located within Nigeria with a view to developing mining assets to definitive feasibility study, DFS stage, and bid such blocks to local and international investors through a transparent bidding process. B, investment in mineral processing and metallurgical technology for identified and economic and commercially viable minerals and metals in Nigeria for import, substitution, and export as a direct source of revenue to the government. C, creation and management of the Nigerian Mineral Development Fund, which will be an independently managed fund set up by the corporation as a channel for proper investment in the solid mineral sector. D, the fund will be sourced independently of the federal government, from local government and from local and international banks and non-bank financial institutions. E, creation of an active solid mineral exchange and all associated key enablers to provide a trading window for both individuals and institutional investors in the Nigerian solid mineral sector. F, ensure technology transfer and local content development in the solid mineral sector to enhance local content participation in line with local content policy of the federal government. The strategy for the successful creation of value in the solid mineral sector by the NMDC is hinged on its partnership with government through the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development and the private sector to implement a mines-to-market master plan covering upstream, midstream, and downstream activities. The strategy includes the commercial and administrative segments. The commercial segment will focus on acquiring selected licenses for the 7 priority minerals: gold, lead zinc, iron ore, barytes, limestone, bitumen, and coal. Through partnership agreement with state and local government, while sharing revenue with them in pre-agreed ratios. The administrative segment is built around the provision of consultancy and support services to the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development across the entire gamut of the mining value chain to aid efficient regulation and enforcement of all provisions enshrined in the Mineral and Mining Act of 2007. Until there is a constitution amendment to sort out the exclusive legislative monopoly by the federal government in mining, this outfit will provide channel through which states and local governments can participate through the provision of SPV, which will enable them leverage their solid mineral endowment. Distinguished colleagues, Honorable Minister, representatives of departments and agencies, industry stakeholders, present in this public hearing, the need to establish the Nigerian Mining Development Corporation cannot be overemphasized, as this will accelerate infrastructural development and will also bridge the gap of unemployment and foreign exchange earnings, thereby bringing the nation to financial prosperity, short to medium term. This, I believe, will be the most pragmatic approach to the diversification of the Nigerian economy. Distinguished members, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your attention.
The world is shifting from the use of crude oil to power machines. We now talk about solar, we talk about renewable energy, we talk about other sources of energy. Maybe in another 10, 15 years from now, there'll be less consumption of fuel across globally. And that's some of the challenges confronting this administration. Nobody could adequately predict the price of crude oil at the international market. It kept on fluctuating. But I'm sure we are not in a hurry to forget that there was a time that oil was selling at $140 per barrel, $150 per barrel. But fortunately, at that time, we couldn't use the resources the way it should be used. But I think that having a corporation to harness mineral resources and get them out for us to have the benefit is something that is needed. And I think this is the time to start the planning so that we can have a sustainable socio-economic development master plan for our nation. Today, ladies and gentlemen, virtually all the states are talking about the dwelling resources from the center, from the pulse of the nation. If we have this cooperation, it will help us to harness more than what we have now and focus more on mineral resources on one hand. But for me, what gladdens my heart is that this cooperation will help in no small measure in encouraging the younger generation into mining on one hand, and I think more importantly too is the fact that it's going to provide jobs for a large army of our youth. And today in this country, some of our raw gold are being exported to Dubai. We don't have all the finishing process in place in our nation. Having a cooperation like this will help us to make sure that we fully have all that it takes to refine our mineral resources for commercial value and to have the benefit of having it in our country. One aspect of mining which is quite different from the problems of communities within the oil-producing sector or areas are encountering is in the area of health hazards. Health hazards. Today, mining is done without recourse to the health hazards that communities around, and indeed some of the locals that are being recruited by these foreigners. The Chinese and others who carry out this illegal mining, they use some of the locals and give them peanuts. But the consequences, the hazards, the health hazards that these people will go into, we experience in years to come, will be more than whatever they have been paid. So I think, Mr. Chairman, that this bill deserves our support. And I want to commend Senator Hussaini for bringing up this bill for us to consider. It is important for us to take care of host communities so that they will not be recruited into things that will be not only counterproductive, but could equally be a risk to the peace and stability of our nation. What we are experiencing in Zamfara was as a result of the gold deposits there, which of course made those who had a good knowledge of it to recruit some of the innocent people into mining, and eventually they got into crime. So I think, Mr. Chairman, if this bill scales through, and I have not in doubt that this will scale through, to help us to put mining on a solid ground, on a solid footing, and securing the well-being of the communities that will be involved. Just of recent, in the National Assembly, we had a very stormy section when we passed the PI bill, and the issue of host community came up. I think this is timely now, and I must say that we may not be able to quantify the damages that some of this illegal mining had done to so many communities now until years to come. But again, if we rise to the occasion and get this bill passed, I will take into consideration all the hazards that, like I said, beyond the ecological problems that we've encountered, the health of the people is of concern, and of course, their well-being too. So I think we should support this bill, Mr. Chairman. I so submit.
Today, lend credence to mutual understanding that has been in existence between the ministry and the legislators in articulating this private bill to strengthen the mineral sector. Furthermore, I want to thank Mr. President for having the vision to use our ministry as one of the key ministries for the diversification of the sector of the economy to drive the country out of a monopoly economy. I'm aware that a proposal has been compiled by the Honorable Minister and sent to the Senate. I tried to lay hand on a copy because I got news of this over the weekend, but I could not lay hand on the copy. So I believe the Senate already has a copy of the submission of the ministry on all the bills being presented here today. For me, I want to start by saying something about the Nigerian Mineral Development Corporation. However, before I say something, it's very important for us to understand that there is still an issue between the Mineral Act and the Land Use Act that I believe that the senators should lay clear understanding as to those two issues that currently the ministry is fighting with the state governors. It's very, very important that we must clear that. And I know that what the ministry has done is to look at, in aggregate, collectively, all the existing laws and see where there's an interwoven or relationship between these laws and the new bills to be established so that we can harmonize them and have a one clear vision as to the way forward. Someone has said something here before. There was the Nigerian Mining Corporation. There was the Nigerian Coal Corporation. These were corporations established for the purpose of strengthening the existence of minerals and production of minerals in Nigeria. But they've gone bonkers today. They're all under BPE. However, for me, one thing that is of essence in the Nigerian Mineral Development Corporation bill is having a regulatory and administrative framework that is solid, that will ensure continuity and sustainability. Those two key words, very important. Continuity and sustainability. Because it's not about qualification. It's about a man that has character and content to run the establishment. If we can get people with content and character, today we don't have Nigerian Airways. Today we don't have Nigerian Shipping Company. All the agencies are gone bonkers. They were run by professionals with qualification, but no content and no character. That is the key thing that we need in establishing who runs the corporation. It's not about somebody coming to speak grammar. Grammar is good, but it doesn't solve the sustainability of the institution. That is, on that note, I want to say that the ministry is in full support, and we have sent in our recommendation as to how we can collaborate with the existing regulations to see that the bill sees the light of day. On the issue of the Solid Mineral Producing Area Development Commission, which I'm equally in support, or we are equally in support, the ministry, we need to establish that it has to do with operators. An artisanal miner is not an operator. It's good for us to understand, because all the people that are doing illegal crude oil in the Niger Delta, they are not taken into consideration as contributors to the commission. So we must establish miners. So if states that want to be involved must get institutions, companies to be involved in mining in their states, so that we have to collaborate the issue of states that are in. If your state is not involved in mining, if it is just artisanal mining, there's no way you will be included in a Solid Mineral Development Commission. It can't work. It is not by identifying that you have a mineral. No, it cannot be. It has to be production, so that we establish the difference between, yes, I have minerals, next is that I'm producing mineral. They have to be clear-cut as to that. Like I said, we have submitted our position to the Senate committee. The proposed bills are critical to the development of the mineral sector, but if I'm allowed time to make further submission, I think I would like to add more submissions to the effect of those bills in the next, if given like 2 weeks. Distinguished senators, Mr. Chairman, the issue of illegal mining has become a critical issue that concerns everybody, not just people that work in Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, but it has to cut across every citizen of Nigeria, that we should all be part in solving the problem. Whether you are a member of the executive, you're a member of the parliament, we must be involved in resolving the issue of illegal mining in this country. So that if I'm a senator or I'm a member of the House of Rep, I should look at within my area. I should be involved. I should see that I'm committed, that these illegal miners, we don't need to leave them to be doing illegal mining and carrying out our minerals illegally. So it's the responsibility of everybody. The ministry is doing a lot. The federal government is doing a lot. We have presidential task force. We have our federal mines officers. But we have the latitude and of the land size is so much that these things are done in the remote areas. A few months ago, we had a meeting with all the local governments in Nigeria where we got a whole lot, most of the local governments to key into this program. It was an eye-opener to most of them. And we want to continue doing this program every other time, not just one-off. Because as it has to do with these minerals, every one of us, every citizen must be involved in checking the excesses of intruders. So mining is very key to the continuity and changing the landscape of our revenue as a country. When we came into existence, because I came in from the oil and gas, ordinarily I wouldn't have said anything, but because my brother Patrick said something, let it not look as if we in the ministry are just lying fallow, doing nothing. I'm sure that in the next few weeks, we are going to launch Made in Nigeria barite. And one of the things we did was that, which he was aware, the ES of the local content bond is a friend and a brother. I brought him in. I wanted the Barite Association to organize themselves so that we can help them. At that point, we asked them to assess all the barite operators. And then they want to support all of them. But the issue is this: they don't want to support you if you don't have a processing plant. And they are saying, okay, even if you have, let's see what we can do, starting with 4 numbers that already have processing plants. Let them run this plant. If you have your barite, take it to them, process it, we get you a ready-made market. That is assured. We are still waiting for them to do that. In addition to that, the federal government has gone ahead to establish processing plants, which they are currently under construction for the 6 geopolitical zones. We're going to have processing plants both for barite, both for gold, both for lead zinc, both for kaolin, both for gold. To establish the downstream sector of mines and steel development, to ensure that we have processes. People don't take out ores out of Nigeria in raw form, but it has to be processed. Within the period, we negotiated and we have started a relationship with the Nigerian customs. Because nothing goes out of this country without the customs, the knowledge of the customs. And we're saying that henceforth, we're going to have online relationship between the customs and the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development. So that everything before you export, there must be a relationship. It is no longer a paper document, but that has to be transmitted online to customs so that customs will have the data. Equally, we have equally asked customs on a monthly basis to furnish us with every export of minerals out of this country to enable us to reconcile with what we have. because we have the knowledge. We have people, men and women, knowledgeable in mind that can decipher and find out the actual mineral that you are exporting. Because we had instances where people are taking sand, they are taking maybe manganese or lead zinc, and they are calling it sand. And that we want to stop. Mr. Chairman, sir, in the Nigerian Development Corporation, Nigerian Mineral Development Corporation, I want us to enlarge the minerals that we have there, so we don't limit ourselves to only few, the 7 minerals. Because we are aware that we have what we call the pegmatite minerals, the lithium, the manganese, and the rest of them. These are minerals of the future. These are minerals that are needed for us to, for the 4th industrial revolution. These are the minerals that are needed. So we need to include more minerals here. We don't need to limit it to only the 7 minerals that we have in the paper presented before us. I believe that, like I said, the relationship we have currently existing between the National Assembly and the executive, that is the ministry, is so robust that it will help to enlarge the understanding, the minds of Nigerians as to the quantum of resources available in this country. Nigeria is blessed, but like some of us have said here, that woman who sees stones behind her house feels that it's God-given. Though, why would she pay royalty? Because God has given her stones to break and sell and put food on her table. So we must look at how to equally classify some of these minerals. And then we need to look at the relationship between the ministry, the state, and the local government. Some of the things proposed have been offered to the state government. We have offered them the opportunity for them to have SPVs. They can establish SPVs to have business relationships, not in their name, but through the SPVs. Those that don't believe that we have resources in Nigeria, they will go deeper in their state, inch deeper, further, to see that there are a lot of minerals in most of these states that can help this country beyond our imagination. Because we are blessed with over 44 minerals, all in commercial viable quantities, cut across in all the states in Nigeria. So that's why I said it has to be a state with a production company, because if you want to say you want to establish a commission, every state has a mineral, one mineral or the other. On a final note, sir, you said something about the central bank, or my brother Senator Smart Adeyemi said. It's unfortunate they did not believe in us, because if they believe in us, if they support us the way they are supporting agriculture, we will do wonders for this country. I believe that this is one ministry that is untapped, unknown, that can change the landscape of our revenue generation. Equally, we need to ask the Ministry of Finance to speed up the export policy on minerals. Very key, very important, because that's the only way we can have all the aggregate operators to partner to ensure that the export of our minerals are recognized and they are part of our trade balances. Mr. Chairman, distinguished senators, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank the 9th Senate once again. If we are given all the support, we will change the landscape of Nigerian revenue structure. Thank you and God bless you.